Hey, fourth graders, it's Mrs. Compton, and today we're going to look at something a little bit different. We're going to model with math. And I think this is super important to know how to actually represent math with pictures, but not like drawing pictures when you were in first grade and kindergarten. Not like that. We're actually going to use a bar model, otherwise known as a tape diagram. These things have different names, but they're all the same thing. So I wrote up here, bar models, tape diagrams, same thing. All right, so let's say we have a situation. Let's say we have 1,278 girls and 1,243 boys competing. Let's go with a science fair. How about that? All right, so maybe you want to find out some information about this. There's all kinds of information that we can figure just from knowing this. But what I want to teach you is how you would set up your bar model or your tape diagram. Okay, so let's say we wanted to know how many students were competing all together. Well, we could set up a diagram to show that. So let's see, how many students, I'm just going to write ST for students, were competing all together. So let's say we want to answer that question. Okay, so the purpose of this is to set up our bar model. So I'm going to set up, let's see, this number is a little larger than this number. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to split it almost in half because these numbers are pretty equal to or pretty close to each other, I should say. But this one's just a little greater. So this would be about half. So I'm going to go just a little there. So this will be my girls section right here. And this will be my boys section. And I'm going to go ahead and write the numbers inside. So 1,278 girls and 1,243 boys were at the science fair, competing at the science fair. Now, the question is, how many students were competing all together? All right, so here's the kicker. With a bar model, you want to put like a question mark on the part you're trying to solve. So you're trying to figure out how many girls and boys there are all together. So that means we're going to do this. We're going to put a little jigger-jagger zigzag mark, and I like to put a question mark here. That tells me that's the question I'm trying to solve. Okay, does that make sense? So we put the girls here, the boys here. This is our bar model. And then we're trying to find out how many students were competing all together. So we put our question mark right there. All right, now, let's say I didn't want to solve that question. Let's say I wanted to solve a different question. Let's say I actually wanted to figure out how many more girls competed than boys. Well, that bar model would look a little bit different. So let's kind of imagine this together. So let's say I have the girls bar model still, 1,278 girls. So I'm going to put that here. Actually, I should write my question. How many more girls competed than boys, right? So now we're comparing them. Okay, so this one is the girls, so 1,278. And this one down here will be the boys. Now remember, they're almost the same size rectangle because the numbers are fairly close together. So 1,243 would go here. And I'm going to put G for girls and B for boys. Now, the thing is, we still have to use a question mark or represent in some way the piece of the puzzle that's trying to get solved. So in this question, how many more girls competed than boys? I'm trying to figure out how many extra girls there were. So this is the extra piece, right? Because if I drew a straight line down, that would be where the boys end. So this is the extra amount of girls. So really what I can do is I can draw one of these and put a little question mark. Or if we want to get fancy, we can do a little whoop-de-woo again. I don't even have a name for it. I just make up names. And that's the piece. That's the piece we're trying to solve, right? So it's super important to know how to model with mathematics and know that you can set up a bar model in different ways. It just depends on what the question is asking and how you are approaching your solving. Okay, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.